Imagine standing in the middle of a vast desert 4,500 years ago. Around you stretches nothing but sand and rock. No cranes, no trucks, no iron tools. Just the raw earth and the strength of human hands. And yet, someone dared to dream bigger than anyone before. Pharaoh Khufu, ruler of Egypt, wanted a monument that would last forever, a testament to his reign that would defy time itself. He demanded the tallest structure the world had ever seen, and he wanted it built now. The first challenge? The foundation. Without modern tools, how do you create a surface so perfectly level that a structure weighing millions of tons wouldn't tilt or collapse? They didn't have laser levels, so they used a method that was simple but genius: water. By measuring water levels, they ensured absolute flatness. Acres of desert rock were painstakingly leveled to, within just 2 centimeters, about the thickness of a finger. Next came alignment. Khufu's pyramid wasn't just a pile of stones, it was a precise masterpiece, oriented perfectly to the North Star. Using the stars themselves as a guide, ancient Egyptian engineers aligned a 6 million-ton mountain of stone with astronomical accuracy. And then, the workforce arrived. Not slaves chained in despair, as myths suggest, but a disciplined army of 20,000 laborers, carefully organized and paid in bread and beer. Their secret weapons? Not advanced machinery, but copper tools, soft metals, strengthened with arsenic to cut rock, and an astonishing mastery of physics. From quarry to foundation, every decision, every motion, and every measurement was calculated. Simple tricks like soaking wood wedges in water to crack 2-ton limestone blocks turned seemingly impossible tasks into reality. Each block was counted, labeled, and carefully transported. The sheer scale of coordination was unimaginable. This was only the beginning. The rock was in place, the desert transformed into a construction site, buzzing with thousands of workers, dust hanging thick in the air. And all of this was just the foundation of a structure that would become one of the greatest wonders of the world. Once the desert floor was leveled and the pyramid's base marked with precision, the real challenge began, turning solid rock into the building blocks of eternity. This wasn't just construction. It was a battle against nature itself. The Egyptians didn't have dynamite, steel drills, or powered machinery. All they had were copper tools, wooden wedges, and an astonishing knowledge of physics. The quarries were the heartbeat of the operation. Workers descended into the rocky belly of the desert and the quarries along the Nile, where the stone was hardest. Here, limestone, relatively soft, was just the beginning. Granite, quarried from Aswan hundreds of miles away, was tougher than steel. A single block could weigh 50 tons. And yet, the workers had to cut, shape, and transport these monoliths with absolute precision. Cutting the stone was a grueling, repetitive process. Copper chisels, reinforced with arsenic to harden them, scraped and chipped away at the rock. For every hour spent cutting, another hour was spent sharpening tools. The air was thick with limestone dust, filling the lungs of men who toiled in shifts named like battalions. The drunkards of Manor, the friends of Khufu. Every gang of workers had its identity, pride, and unspoken rivalry. When the rock proved too stubborn, simple yet brilliant physics came into play. Wooden wedges were inserted into carved grooves and soaked with water. The wood swelled, creating pressure that split 2-ton blocks free from the quarry walls. Then the process repeated millions of times. Every block counted, cataloged, and prepared for its journey across the desert. Transporting the stones was another feat. The Egyptians had no wheeled vehicles that could survive the soft sand. Instead, they turned to friction, lubrication, and ingenuity. Large limestone blocks were moved on sleds over wet sand, which reduced friction by nearly half, allowing smaller teams to pull massive stones faster and with less effort. The scene was almost hypnotic. Hundreds of men pulling in perfect rhythm, coordinated by drum beats and shouted commands. while supervisors ensured every block stayed on its precise path. Granite was another story entirely. Dolerite balls were pounded against the stone for months, pulverizing it into rough shapes. Once freed from the quarry, blocks floated down the Nile during seasonal floods, turning nature itself into a highway of transport. When the river receded, workers dragged the stones from the water's edge to the construction site, often hundreds of meters across desert sands. Every step demanded mind-boggling organization. Blocks were numbered, recorded, and sometimes even ceremonially blessed before placement. Copper tools were consumed in astonishing quantities. For every ton of stone, workers might use pounds of copper chisels, constantly maintained and sharpened. The quarry was a world unto itself, chaotic, dusty, noisy, yet meticulously structured. By the time the first stones reached the pyramid site, the foundation was ready to receive them. The work done in quarries and on the Nile was the hidden labor behind the visible grandeur. Without this foundation of effort, skill, and patience, Khufu's vision would never rise from the sands. And yet, this was just the start. As the stones arrived, the challenge escalated. Moving blocks across the desert was one thing. Lifting them hundreds of feet to their final positions was another entirely. The workers faced a problem that would test every ounce of human ingenuity. How to turn brute strength into precise placement. How to conquer friction, gravity, and the sheer weight of the world itself. The stones had left the quarries. They had floated down the Nile, traversed the desert, and now lay at the foot of the pyramid site. But the hardest challenge of all awaited. Lifting these colossal blocks hundreds of feet into the air, one precise layer at a time. Imagine standing at the base of a structure, already taller than any building in the ancient world. You are a worker, staring at a 2-ton block in front of you. Your hands grip copper tools. Your friends are ready to pull. There is no crane, no pulley, no engine-only men, rhythm, ingenuity, and sheer will. The slightest mistake could crush a worker or ruin weeks of labor. Engineers of the time faced a dilemma that modern minds still debate. How did they lift these stones? The most popular idea is the straight ramp, a massive incline of sand and stone leading up the side of the pyramid. On paper, it seems simple. Drag the stone up the ramp, layer by layer, but the math quickly breaks reality. The ramp would have to be so long that it would stretch for miles, requiring more labor and materials than the pyramid itself. It was impractical. Then came the spiral ramp theory, a method of ingenuity worthy of legend. Imagine a road winding around the pyramid, twisting upward like a mountain pass. Workers would drag each stone along this path, carefully managing friction, weight, and manpower. Hundreds of men pulled in perfect unison, while others lubricated the route with wet sand, reducing resistance and preventing disaster. Every misstep, every slip could mean catastrophe. Friction was the enemy. Gravity was relentless. Even with wet sand, moving a limestone block was like pushing a small car uphill. Granite, however, was an entirely different story. Harder than steel, weighing dozens of tons, it could not be scratched or carved easily. Here, the Egyptians turned to dolerite pounding and careful shaping, creating blocks that were precise to the millimeter preparation. They could take months for a single stone. But lifting was not just about brute force. It was about physics, leverage, and coordination. Workers discovered that by rocking blocks on curved wooden levers, inch by inch, they could gradually raise tons of stone without modern machinery. Teams worked in perfect rhythm, coordinated by shouted commands. And drums, each movement measured and rehearsed. One false step, one mistimed tug, could send a block tumbling and crush weeks of work. As blocks climbed, the work became more treacherous. The platform shrank. High winds swept across the site. At 50 meters, the pyramid was more than a building. It was a mountain under construction. Workers were no longer just laborers. They were mountaineers, engineers, and acrobats, moving immense weights along precarious platforms. Every stone had to fit perfectly. If one corner drifted, the alignment would fail, and the peak of the pyramid would never meet its mark. They used tools of astonishing simplicity and precision: water levels to measure horizontals, plumb lines for verticals, and ropes marked meticulously to maintain alignment. Even by today's standards, the accuracy of these measurements is breathtaking. Then there was gypsum mortar, a substance that acted as both glue and lubricant. Applied carefully between blocks, it allowed stones to slide into place and then set rock hard. Without this simple compound, the pyramid would have crumbled under its own weight. Meanwhile, inside the pyramid, another challenge awaited. Khufu had ordered chambers and passageways within the structure, creating a hidden machine of architecture. Before the pyramid reached its peak, workers began digging deep underground for the subterranean chambers, then building ascending passages and mysterious shafts pointing to the stars. These inner constructions were not just functional, they were spiritual, astronomical, and architectural marvels. As the lower layers rose, the pyramid began to take its iconic shape. From the outside, it was a geometric marvel. From the inside, a carefully engineered system of corridors, counterweights, and chambers. Every step required precision, timing, and coordination on a scale that humbles modern engineers. And all of this work, the ramps, the levers, the platforms, was being done without wheels, without engines, without any of the tools we consider essential today. The story of these early layers is also a story of human resilience. Thousands of men worked in the heat, sand, and dust, rotating in shifts, fed and paid, yet constantly pushing the boundaries of what they thought possible. The rhythm of the construction was almost ceremonial drums, chants, shouts, and the grinding of stone against stone, creating a soundtrack to one of humanity's greatest achievements. By the time the lower levels were complete, the pyramid was no longer just a building. It was a testament to planning, precision, and human will. Every block placed was a victory, every layer a challenge overcome. And yet, for Khufu, the work was just beginning. The middle and upper levels would demand even more creativity, more daring, and more coordination. The pyramid would not just rise into the sky, it would challenge the limits of what people could imagine. While the outer pyramid slowly rose toward the sky, a hidden world was taking shape inside a network of passages, chambers, and architectural marvels that would challenge even the most advanced engineers today. This was not just construction. It was a machine of stone, a precise symphony of human skill, physics, and planning. The first task inside was the ascending passage, a narrow corridor carved into the heart of the pyramid. Workers crawled in tight spaces, hauling stone blocks through claustrophobic tunnels, their only light flickering from oil lamps. Every step had to be exact. One misaligned stone could block the passage and halt months of work. Then came the Queen's Chamber, modest in size but monumental in purpose. Its mysterious shafts pointed toward stars, suggesting that the Egyptians were not only building a tomb, but a celestial instrument. Some historians believe these shafts aligned with Orion and Sirius, linking the pharaoh's afterlife to the heavens themselves. As the blocks were fitted together, the precision was incredible. You could not fit even a hair between them. Every stone had to be perfectly aligned, or the integrity of the chamber would be compromised. But the real masterpiece was the Grand Gallery, a cathedral of stone within the dark heart of the pyramid. This was no ordinary corridor. Rising over 8 meters high, with perfectly sloped walls, the gallery functioned as both a passage and a mechanical marvel, allowing workers to lift heavy granite blocks to higher levels using counterweights. Imagine hundreds of men pulling massive stones up a narrow incline, synchronized with flawless timing. Every movement required coordination down to the second. A single misstep could topple tons of stone, crushing those below and undoing months of effort. Granite, quarried from Aswan and transported hundreds of miles, was the ultimate challenge. Moving these stones inside the pyramid required more than brute strength. It demanded leverage, rollers, and a deep understanding of physics. Workers created ingenious systems. They rocked stones back and forth, lifted them inch by inch, and used wooden levers on curved bases to convert raw weight into manageable motion. It was not machinery. It was manpower elevated to an art form, combining rhythm, technique, and sheer determination. At the end of the Grand Gallery lay the King's Chamber, the heart of Khufu's vision. Massive granite beams spanned the ceiling, some weighing over 70 tons. How did they lift them? By employing levers, sleds, and counterweight systems, they gradually raised each block. It was a painstaking process. Rock, wedge, roll, repeat. Hundreds of men pulled in unison, inch by inch, turning what seemed impossible into reality. But the genius of the pyramid wasn't just in the lifting, it was in the distribution of weight. Architects created relieving chambers above the King's Chamber, empty spaces designed to divert the crushing pressure of millions of tons of stone away from the ceiling. Without these chambers, the granite beams would have cracked instantly under the pyramid's immense weight. This simple yet brilliant innovation shows a level of engineering foresight that is staggering, even by modern standards. As the chambers rose, workers left their marks, not graffiti in the modern sense, but signatures etched into the stone, identifying teams and crews, leaving evidence of the men who made eternity possible. These inscriptions tell us a story of discipline, pride, and meticulous organization. The Friends of Khufu, the Drunkards of Manor, each played a role in a project that was both monumental and tensely human. Meanwhile, the logistics outside continued. While the inner chambers were being constructed, ramps, platforms, and scaffolds climbed higher along the pyramid's exterior. Inside and out, the project required the synchronization of thousands of workers, all moving in harmony, all focused on a vision that stretched beyond human imagination. By the time the Grand Gallery and King's Chamber were complete, the pyramid was no longer just a building. It was a masterpiece of architecture, physics, and human endurance. Every stone placed inside mattered as much as the ones forming the exterior. The precision of these internal chambers was essential. One error could compromise the entire structure. And yet, Khufu's pyramid was still far from finished. Above the King's Chamber, the upper levels and the ultimate pinnacle awaited, where even greater challenges loomed, from lifting colossal stones to shaping the smooth, polished exterior that would shine like the sun itself. By the time the pyramid reached its higher levels, the challenges were no longer just about lifting stones. They were about conquering nature itself. The lower layers had been built with relatively broad platforms, but as the pyramid narrowed, every step became a perilous climb. The air grew thinner, the platform smaller, and the wind stronger. One miscalculated move could send tons of stone crashing down, undoing months of work or ending a life. The workers had already proven their mastery of physics, rhythm, and leverage, but now they faced their greatest test, lifting the heaviest stones to the highest levels. Granite blocks weighing up to 70 tons had to be moved into position. This was equivalent to lifting a modern-day space shuttle by hand, inch by inch. Here, ingenuity and simplicity became the tools of miracles. Teams of men used rockers and levers, turning raw weight into manageable motion. The process was meticulous. A block was rocked forward slightly, a wedge inserted, and then it was rocked again. Rock, wedge, roll. Inch by inch, foot by foot, the pyramid climbed toward the sky. Hundreds of men worked in perfect unison, guided by rhythm, shouted commands, and the unwavering discipline of generations of skilled laborers. As the upper levels rose, the pyramid's slope demanded new solutions. Straight ramps were impossible. They would have required miles of sand and labor. Spiral ramps around the pyramid allowed workers to move stones upward in a controlled path. Every step along these ramps had to consider friction, weight distribution, and manpower. Workers continuously lubricated the sand to reduce resistance, while supervisors measured angles to ensure alignment remained perfect. The final pinnacle of the pyramid, the capstone, was designed not just as a symbol, but as a visual marvel. Made of solid gold, it would catch the sun's rays and shine across the desert like a second sun. Placing this final stone required absolute precision. It was a delicate dance between human strength, physics, and timing. The capstone could not be lifted too quickly, or it would destabilize the structure. Too slowly, and the workers risked fatigue and accidents. Meanwhile, the outer surfaces of the pyramid were being smoothed to perfection. Workers started from the top down, cutting and polishing the limestone casing stones to an exact angle of 51 degrees. The pyramid wasn't meant to look like steps. It had to gleam with a smooth, continuous face. As the workers dressed the pyramid's exterior, they removed ramps and platforms behind them, leaving only the polished white limestone shining under the sun. This finishing process was as much art as construction. Each stone was carefully placed, each edge perfectly aligned, each face polished until it reflected light like glass. By the time the work was complete, the pyramid would have been visible from miles away, a radiant monument dominating the desert horizon. Travelers from the mountains of Israel could see it gleam, a symbol of Khufu's eternal reign. The risk was constant. At heights of over 140 meters, the platform for work was narrow, and a slip could be fatal. Workers had no harnesses, no safety nets. Every block moved was a delicate operation, requiring precision, trust, and relentless teamwork. Yet, through centuries of practice, discipline, and innovation, the Egyptians transformed a deadly task into a coordinated symphony of human effort. Inside, the final chambers and passageways were completed simultaneously. The king's chamber, the grand gallery, and the subterranean chambers had to be aligned perfectly with the exterior, ensuring structural integrity. The relieving chambers above the king's chamber distributed immense pressure, allowing the structure to endure for millennia. Every detail mattered. A single misstep could compromise the entire pyramid. Finally, the pyramid was complete, a masterpiece of architecture, engineering, and human endurance. The white limestone casing sparkled under the Egyptian sun. The golden capstone crowned the summit, reflecting light across the desert and marking the tomb of Khufu for eternity. It was more than a tomb. It was a statement, a testament to human ambition, skill, and the ability to shape the natural world to one's vision. The pyramid wasn't just a physical structure. It was a symbol of civilization itself. Every block told a story, of quarrymen laboring for months, of engineers calculating angles and friction, of thousands of workers coordinating in rhythm, day after day. It stood as proof that with vision, organization, and persistence, humanity could accomplish feats that seem impossible, even today. And yet, the story doesn't end with completion. Even after the pyramid was finished, its journey continued through time, through earthquakes, sandstorms, and human curiosity waiting for future generations to marvel at its scale, craftsmanship, and enduring mystery. With the pyramid's structure complete, the focus shifted inward to its true purpose, the eternal resting place of Pharaoh Khufu. The king's chamber, crafted from massive granite blocks, was the heart of the pyramid. It was here that Khufu's sarcophagus would lie, protected by the ingenuity and foresight of thousands of workers, engineers, and planners. The burial itself was a feat of careful planning. A sarcophagus, carved from a single block of granite, was too large to be carried through the completed corridors. Instead, workers had to build the room around the coffin, leaving no space for error. Every measurement mattered. Every angle was precise. This was architecture at its most daring, a process that demanded patience and skill. Once the sarcophagus was in place, the pyramid's internal security system was activated. 3 massive granite plugs slid into position to seal the entrance of the king's chamber, locking the tomb behind a barrier designed to withstand both time and human curiosity. Workers then completed the sealing of the pyramid itself, concealing the labyrinth of passages and chambers. This was a fortress, a resurrection machine built to ensure that Khufu's journey to the afterlife would remain undisturbed for eternity. Meanwhile, the lives of the workers, often overlooked in stories of pharaohs, were rich and complex. These weren't slaves chained to their labor. They were highly organized, skilled artisans and laborers. Teens were carefully managed, fed, and compensated with bread, beer, and shelter. Archaeologists have uncovered remnants of their villages, revealing bakeries, dormitories, and medical facilities. Injured workers were treated. Labor was demanding, yes, but it was also valued, disciplined, and structured. Each crew had its identity, often inscribing their names or symbols into the stone. These marks were more than signatures. They were a testament to pride, skill, and belonging. The Friends of Khufu and other teams left a legacy of human effort, immortalized in limestone. Generations later, we can read their work as a story of collaboration and endurance. Once the tomb was sealed and the pyramid completed, the rituals of Khufu's burial took place. Temples were built at the base of the pyramid for worship, and a ceremonial ship was buried nearby, meant to carry the pharaoh through the afterlife. The pyramid itself became both a tomb and a monument, a structure that projected power, engineering genius, and spiritual significance across the desert. Yet even the greatest monuments faced the test of time. Centuries later, in 133 AD, a massive earthquake loosened the white limestone casing. Stones were stripped away, repurposed to build Cairo. Robbers tunneled through the core, searching for treasures, but found almost nothing. Khufu's pyramid, despite centuries of damage, remained intact, a silent sentinel to human achievement. Over time, explorers and archaeologists sought to uncover its secrets. Early methods were crude, sometimes destructive, using dynamite to locate hidden chambers. Modern technology, including robotics and ground-penetrating radar, revealed voids and hidden spaces within the pyramid, hinting at secrets we have yet to fully understand. In 2017, a massive void was discovered above the Grand Gallery, an empty space that continues to puzzle researchers today. Robots exploring tiny shafts even found copper handles and mysterious doors, small clues in a 4,500-year-old puzzle. Khufu's pyramid was not just a tomb, it was a monument to human ambition, ingenuity, and persistence. Every stone placed, every chamber built, every ramp constructed was part of a vision that required extraordinary foresight. The pyramid stands not only as the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, but as a testament to what humans can achieve when imagination, skill, and determination converge. And yet, the story of the pyramid is far from over. Its mysteries continue to inspire archaeologists, engineers, and dreamers alike. What we see today, the rough core, the remaining casing, the internal chambers, is only part of the story. The pyramid represents a journey of humanity itself, a struggle against nature, gravity, and time, a story of organization, coordination, and mastery over the physical world, and a triumph that still awes the imagination. After Khufu's monumental pyramid, Egypt entered a period often called the Golden Age of construction. The success of the Great Pyramid inspired both ambition and innovation. His son, Pharaoh Khufu, took on the next challenge, not just building a pyramid, but creating a monumental complex that included the world's most iconic guardian, the Sphinx. Khufu's pyramid, slightly smaller than his father's, still required millions of tons of stone, precise alignment, and ingenious construction techniques. Workers faced the same challenges, transporting massive granite and limestone blocks, building ramps, and lifting stones with only levers, rollers, and sheer manpower. Yet the experience of Khufu's project provided lessons in organization, labor management, and engineering. Khufu's teams were more efficient, better coordinated, and perhaps even inspired by the aura of the Great Pyramid. And then came the Sphinx, carved directly from the bedrock of the plateau. Unlike the pyramids, this was sculpture and monument in one. a guardian with the body of a lion and the face of a pharaoh. It required not just labor but artistry, an understanding of proportions, and a vision that merged human power with divine symbolism. The Sphinx faced east, greeting the rising sun, perhaps symbolizing strength, vigilance, and the eternal watch over the necropolis. The third pyramid, built by Menkaure, was smaller, but no less significant. The economy could no longer sustain giants on the scale of Khufu's pyramid, and the workforce and resources were reduced. Yet each stone, each layer, each chamber carried forward the legacy of innovation, precision, and devotion that had defined the first pyramid. These pyramids together marked the apex of Egyptian construction, a golden era where human ambition touched the sky. But history is never static. Over centuries, the power, resources, and stability that allowed such monumental projects began to wane. Pyramids became smaller, less elaborate, and the golden age of large-scale construction came to an end. Political instability, economic constraints, and shifting religious practices meant that the colossal vision of Khufu and his successors could no longer be realized. The focus shifted from massive stone monuments to more modest tombs and temples, and the methods that had been perfected over decades faded. Despite this decline, the legacy endured. The Great Pyramid of Khufu remained the benchmark, the standard against which all others were measured. Its precision, scale, and endurance made it not just a tomb, but a symbol of civilization itself. Even as centuries passed and empires rose and fell, the pyramid continued to awe and inspire, a silent testament to what humans can accomplish. Time also brought natural disasters and human interference. In 133 AD, a massive earthquake stripped the white limestone casing from the Great Pyramid, leaving only the rough core. Stones were repurposed to build Cairo, yet the core structure endured. Robbers tunneled through, explorers probed with primitive tools, and centuries of wind and sand reshaped the landscape. Yet Khufu's pyramid, Khafre's, Menkaure's, and the Sphinx remained, defying time, nature, and human greed. Even today, their stories are being rewritten. Modern archaeology, non-invasive scanning, and robotics reveal hidden chambers, voids, and shafts, mysteries that continue to baffle researchers. Each discovery hints at engineering secrets lost to history, showing that these monuments were more than tombs. They were machines of knowledge, symbols of power, and expressions of human genius. The golden age of pyramid construction reminds us of what can happen when vision, organization, and determination converge. Workers, architects, and pharaohs collaborated in a scale and with a precision that is still difficult to comprehend today. From the massive stones quarried in Aswan to the finishing touches of polished casing stones and the alignment with the stars, each element demonstrates mastery over materials, math, and manpower. Even as the economy, politics, and society changed, the awe-inspiring monuments left behind continued to define Egypt. Travelers from distant lands came to marvel. Scholars recorded their observations, and generations of humanity were inspired. The pyramids were no longer just tombs. They were eternal statements of ambition, power, and ingenuity. Even after 4,500 years, the Great Pyramid of Khufu continues to captivate the world. Modern technology has allowed us to peer inside like never before, revealing secrets that the ancient Egyptians may have intended to remain hidden forever. In 2017, researchers using Muon tomography discovered a massive void above the Grand Gallery, a previously unknown space as large as a cathedral. This void, empty and silent for millennia, challenges our understanding of the pyramid's internal design. Why was it built? What purpose did it serve? Robots and scanners have explored the pyramid's hidden shafts and corridors, uncovering copper handles, tiny doors, and complex passageways. These details hint at a design far more sophisticated than a simple tomb. Some researchers now believe that the pyramid was more than a final resting place. It was a resurrection machine, a structure designed to connect the pharaoh to eternity through both architecture and astronomy. Think about it. Every corridor, chamber, and shaft aligns with precision. The king's chamber is surrounded by relieving chambers that distribute massive weight. The grand gallery is a feat of engineering designed to move enormous stones. Shafts point towards specific stars. The pyramid itself becomes a mechanical and spiritual device, using gravity, leverage, and geometry to achieve something that goes beyond the ordinary. Modern exploration continues to raise questions. What lies in the voids? Are there undiscovered chambers still sealed for thousands of years? Could there be objects, inscriptions, or mechanisms that reveal even more about the pharaoh's vision? Robots have only scratched the surface. Every discovery opens new possibilities and deepens the mystery. Yet the story of the pyramid is not just about engineering, it is about people. Thousands of workers, engineers, and architects left their mark in subtle ways. Inscriptions and symbols in the stone tell us who built it, the crews they organized, and the pride they took in their work. The laborers were not nameless slaves. They were skilled, paid, and deeply committed to a project that transcended individual lives. They were part of a story written in millions of tons of limestone and granite. The Great Pyramid has endured not just time, but nature. Earthquakes, sandstorms, and centuries of weathering have worn away the white casing stones. Yet the structure itself remains almost perfectly aligned with true north. Even by today's standards, its precision is astounding. Modern engineers and architects study it as a marvel of planning, surveying, and logistics. The pyramid is a testament to what humans can achieve when vision meets discipline. Beyond its technical genius, the pyramid remains a symbol of eternity. Khufu's pyramid is the only surviving wonder of the ancient world, standing as a reminder of humanity's capacity for imagination and ambition. From the quarries of Aswan to the polished casing stones that once gleamed like sunlight across the desert, every step of construction was an act of ingenuity. Every challenge was solved with creativity, precision, and sheer determination. Even today, the pyramid continues to inspire. Tourists from across the globe come to stand before it. Scientists return with new technologies, eager to uncover what has remained hidden for millennia. The story of Khufu's pyramid is both ancient and alive, a bridge between human history and human curiosity. Some even call it a resurrection machine, in the profound way it connects life, death, and eternity. The pyramid transforms ordinary labor into monumental achievement, earthly stone into a vessel of memory and ambition. It shows that humans are capable of creating something that outlives themselves. And so, the Great Pyramid stands enduring, silent, and incomprehensible in its scale and precision. It is more than a tomb. It is a monument to vision, a machine of ingenuity, and a symbol of what humanity can accomplish. Even after 4,500 years, it challenges our understanding, inspires awe, and whispers the eternal story of human ambition. The story of Khufu's pyramid is not just a tale of the past, it is a living narrative. Each discovery, each technological exploration, adds a new chapter. And for anyone standing at its base, looking up at its summit, it is impossible not to feel the power, the discipline, and the imagination.